Right, it's 7:03. We are still July 10th, 2025. And this is the work session. In attendance tonight, again, let's see, we have Councilperson Martin, Councilperson Grant, Councilperson Pat Passion. I wanted to put Kathy and Passion together. Passion. Councilperson Koss, Councilperson Pinter, myself, President Cameron. That sounds funny. Council President Cameron, and Jeff Wilczek, Fiscal Officer. All right, I think we're going to start. Jeff wanted to ask if he could go over the RFP with us, so we will start there. Jeff?
So, earlier this week, or in last week, I emailed a copy of the RFP to obtain an architect engineer to develop the plans for the bathhouse, put together the bid document, and oversee the evaluation and provide recommendation for a contractor to construct the bathhouse. Okay? The RFP, this is something that, to the best of my knowledge, the village has not really done in the past, put out an RFP. So an RFP is less formal than a bid process, yet there still is a formal process here. You've got the document, it goes out, hopefully we get responders, they're allowed to inquire with us for clarification, but whatever the responder sends in is like a bid. That price is fixed. We do not negotiate with them. Okay? So if we get 2 or 3 or 4, the evaluation process we look at, we go with the lowest, best responder, and go from there. Okay? What I'm hoping is that the engineer architect side of this, it stays under the bid limit. I can't see where this building will cost us that much to have design and bid documents and so on put together. Okay? Now that said, the RFP has some dates outlined in it. And what we're trying to do is stay on target with the dates so that end of pool season of 26, construction can start and it can be finished May 1st of the following year or shortly thereafter so that the pool can be opened and ready to go. Okay? The following year, we would have to go through this process again for a contractor to fix, renovate, improve the pool. Again, hopefully we can do that for what I'm still saying is $2 million. We can issue $2 million payable from income tax without it putting a severe crimp in our budget. But that's the best. Those bonds would be paid over 20 years, and because it's payable from income tax, it would not count towards our debt limit. Any debt that is issued against property taxes goes against our debt limit. Our debt limit max is right around $6 million. And it would take a vote of all residents to approve a bond issue that would hit that high. And the biggest concern I have there is if you put a bond issue to the voters to approve the pool and they say no, I think we're stuck. So I recommend going with the income tax side. $2 million is really the best that I still feel comfortable with, not affecting our operating side. And hopefully we can get the renovations to the pool done for $2 million or $2 million plus whatever's left in the pool improvement fund. Right now there's roughly $345,000 in the pool improvement fund. If we can get the bathhouse built for $300,000 or $400,000, we got a grant for 50% of that, and we'll leave some money in the pool improvement fund that would allow us a little bit more than $2 million to improve the pool. If our income tax continues growing, we will always have a chance to evaluate how much we set aside for road improvements versus storm sewer improvements, or maybe even the pool. Okay? But right now, we've got $345,000 in the pool improvement fund, so we've got the bathhouse covered. If we end up using the full amount of the grant, which is $350,000, which would mean the bathhouse is costing $700, we still got cash to pay for it. But beyond that, we're issuing debt, bonds, to pay for the pool improvements. Okay?
So back to the RFP, you're gonna release that next week? July 15th, sorry.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then how do you release that? I'm just curious.
There will be a short list of architects that we will send that off to. There are a couple interested already. Jason, you provided one, I can't remember the name. I did reach out to the architect for this building, they're interested. There's another one, I can't think of the name for some reason, Mason sticks in my mind. There's another party that does pools that's very much interested. And Rick West is tied to a pool company too, so I think he would get a copy. Okay?
And it's just interviewed, or just emailed out?
That will get emailed to them, then it gets posted to our website. And I believe I can post it to the same site that we post our documents for bids on major projects.
And is that you or Eric or a combination?
It would be us.
Gotcha.
Okay, myself, Barb.
Oh, gotcha.
Out.
And then you'll have, I know the dates are in there, but then we would be able to approve some type of contract, it looks like September.
The intent would be, the RFPs would be open all at the same time.
Yeah.
Staff would evaluate and come back to you with a recommendation and ask council to approve a contract with one of the responders.
And in that contract, we would also have some type of layout. I know you kind of did it already a little bit, but, well, that
You would not, because the purpose of the contract is for the architect to design the building. Okay? So more than likely, there should be a start off or kickoff meeting where some of the desire can be expressed. And then they can go back and figure out how to work that in, or how to best design the building. One, to keep the cost down to a minimum, and two, meet the needs that we have or want. Of course, they're going to have all the other criteria, the ADA, et cetera, to go with it. Okay? We need to make sure that the building can be winterized, because we're not going to use it during winter. Whether we really need any kind of heating or air conditioning, questionable. Okay? And go from there on it.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Okay?
Let's fast forward it, I got excited.
Yeah, right now, I suggested in here approximately the same footprint, give or take square footage, that the existing bathhouse has. Okay? It could be relocated, you could shift it more east or west if you want. You know, either way, I anticipate a new concrete pad being put in for all of this to take place. But again, that's up to the architect and engineer on this. Again, hopefully, things can be done, and we're far enough ahead that we still have a permit process that we'll have to go through. You've got the bid process for the contractor. We certainly can't afford to have permits delayed like we have with maintenance building, because we are under a very tight schedule to get this done.
Is it fair to say, council, anyone else, is it fair to say we want to go as basic as possible in this building? Is that a fair statement for everyone or no? Jason, don't answer.
I don't think so.
No, I know, I'm joking, but I mean, seriously, I'm asking because.
I would define basic.
Yeah, sure. Hang on.
What do you mean?
No, I mean, we don't want that many bells and whistles, I would assume.
Well, you don't know.
Right. The more you add to it, the more it's going to cost.
Thank you. Well, I'm only asking because it's a 60-year-old building as it stands, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And like, I would hate for us to, if we could get it done for $400,000, we decide we want to do it for $550,000. You see where I'm going?
Sure.
So like that's the only reason I asked, no other reason.
I think the one thing that's going to drive this is what are the ADA requirements? What other design requirements or structural requirements come into play with this type of building.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what those are. You know, can we get by with something that's 1,500 square foot versus 2,000? That's where some input from council with the architect and let them go to work and come into play with this.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay?
Yep. Sorry.
So,
Thank you.
and even, you know, the location of it can come back into play a little bit too. But-
So, as far as financing for, and I'm not talking about this part of it, I'm talking about phase 2, the pool part. I know traditionally our pool has operated in the red.
Yes,
Let's just say a new pool, for some reason, we start operating in the black. And we're not paying funds out of our general fund to help offset the cost. Can we use those extra funds to pay down the debt faster? Or,
yes, you could, but typically the debt is not callable, so you're still stuck at a 20-year maturity. You could set that dollars aside
mhm,
each year beyond what we would carry for a minimum balance to meet the debt, so that somewhere down the road, maybe after 17 years, you no longer have to fund it because the debt service fund has sufficient money to cover principal and interest payments.
okay,
Whether we can make it callable in the latter years is a conversation with bond counsel.
okay,
Don't know.
okay.
Typically, pools, municipal pools,
Mhm.
do not make a profit.
I know you've said that, but it's hard for me to believe that so many municipalities would even put them in if they're not making money.
It's a recreational thing that.
Right.
So
is
here's,
attraction.
yeah, but the only thing I guess the perspective is, and we should ask probably somebody who's in real estate, is how does a municipal pool affect the property values? And in turn, is that enough tax dollars to fund itself from the property taxes that we get based on the appraised value of the homes? Probably not. But that's a
Well-
question I have.
If nothing else, to some people, it will be an attraction because that gives residents, parents, and their kids a place where their kids can go for the summer, hang out, and we have some assurance that there's some safety there, okay? When I was a kid, I rode my bike
Right, that's what I'm
4
saying.
miles to the pool.
Yeah,
My mother was going to college at the time, and we were down there at 10 o'clock when the pool opened. I left my paper out at 2:30, the rest of my brothers and sisters were back home by 4:30. And they rode the bikes back up. So it was a great thing for us because
yeah.
we had a place to go, we hang out, there was a lot of kids our age, we had a blast.
So I guess that's what I'm saying, is in other ways, I feel like the pool is a big asset, and if it's a nicer pool. I guess my example is, I think I told Jason about this, is Jerome Village, my friend lives there, and they have a community pool, but they also have a workout space, and now they have a bar and grill there. So when you go to the community pool, you can order dinner on an app, and they bring it out to you.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
what's their
What's that?
what's the fees they pay for?
I gotta look into that. So I don't think it's that much. I think because they have a restaurant attached to it, there is some revenue that goes around too.
Sure.
So I'm
It's
sure
not
there's,
cheap for that to be available.
I'm sure it's not cheap for that to be available, but I do believe that it does attract more people that want to live in that community because of such a wonderful
I
event.
view the pool as an asset to the village
Right.
itself,
I agree.
okay? And even though we don't make a profit on it, in other words, our membership fees and so on do not exceed the cost.
Straight profit, yeah.
It's not that bad that it's, like I said, it's still an attraction, it's still something for the neighborhood and the kids to go for the summer. Okay?
So I hear Dad saying yes, guys. Thank you.
Here, some of my concerns have been, we could we could have other, we're not utilizing the pool to the best of our ability. I think there's some things that we could do. We stopped offering swim lessons for some reason. I don't know why.
Lifeguards.
I mean, I know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we have some staff that are just like, I just don't wanna fool with it kind of thing.
So one of the things we could do that would probably help you out with some of this, once the pool is improved, we can create a separate fund to account for the revenue that comes in and the related expenses for the pool. That way, if there is a surplus, you can accumulate that and you can utilize it to make some additional improvements or small improvements to the pool or added things. Worst case scenario, if revenue is not enough to cover the expenses, general fund would have to provide an operating transfer. Okay?
As it does today.
Yeah.
As it does today.
So,
Right now, it's subsidized in the general fund, so you don't see that. Okay?
so I mean, I think swim lessons, we don't have any, swim teams anymore that rent the pool in the morning. I think, I question why we open at noon and not earlier. I feel like a lot of times we're missing good sunlight time.
Parent hours where you're like, I don't know what to do with you. Go to bed."
Yeah,
So,
I think
we can
there's-
help bring more members.
I did love the 11 to 9 hours when we first moved here, I can tell you that.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. So,
But in an hour, this provides a little color. When about 7 o'clock, it's pretty bad. So-
oh, sure, yeah.
And then from 7 to 9, because I used to coach my son baseball, we'd run back, jump in the pool at 8:30, and John hated it. But 11 o'clock is fair. Now, I thought there was a reason, if anybody knows this, why the club, there used to be a Buckeye Swim Club that used to come and do
They
things
got
in
their
the
own
morning.
pool.
Oh,
Yeah, so I thought there was a reason, Jason. I'll check with John. because-
What John told me was that the lady that there was 2 different coaches.
Yeah.
She built her own pool and now uses her own pool instead of renting ours. And I think he also uses that pool now.
Gotcha,
As well.
gotcha. There was a size issue to it.
Yes, it's not, ours is not quite regulation.
So,
like-
you can open up a little bit earlier for swim team practice, if you get a swim team. When you need to make certain that the pool is the proper length, so that you can hold.
Which ours is currently not.
And I don't know how it works nowadays, but back when I was on swim team, most swim team meets were early evening.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which brings in evening revenue.
yeah, yeah.
Look, I was talking to, this was when we still had the swim team there.
Yeah.
I was talking to the guy, the woman had already taken her team away, and he's like, places that have meets, like the revenue of those parents that are sitting around waiting for their kids is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're buying food from your concession stand, and you're raking in money because they have nothing else to do.
I think Amherst still might do that type of stuff, if you ever
Yeah.
wondered. But my daughter was swimming for a little bit,
Yeah.
one of my youngest.
My other concern is that we have a large chunk of property that we use for 3 months of the year, which was part of that event space logic, was that, hey, we could potentially have another space similar to this one that we don't have to take care of quite as, it wouldn't necessarily have carpeting or things like that in it. Kids events and things like that, it might be better. We have Minerva Park Community Association that uses our pool quite a bit for their programs. I think it's a draw for them. But again, kind of the bigger thing is, we have 9 months of nothing coming in. And so, just what could we do about that?
Jason, would you anticipate having a bigger community kind of banquet hall? Is that the idea, or?
No, I don't know if it's necessarily bigger, because this room is a pretty good size, but when you consider the spaces that you can't use in here, like it makes it smaller, right?
I think it'd be nice to
Have you
have,
ever, sorry, go ahead.
I just think it'd be nice to have a yearly round event space like Jason's speaking of, and have that at the pool. And that's also just like a two-part thing. I don't necessarily like the idea of renting out the municipal building because this is a municipal building that has a police station attached to it. It's not a
Yeah.
event space where you can come kick it. And that's more wear and tear on the building. But if we had a place like at the pool, that could also generate revenue and income by having something indoors over there.
How would you do it though?
So that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Have you seen, there's one at the zoo, so I used to work at the zoo in high school, but it's almost like a garage,
Yeah,
but it's glass with a concrete floor,
yeah.
just whatever, everything's exposed, like very industrial looking.
Yeah.
But you can hose it down, in the summers, all the garage doors
Yeah.
open.
Right.
I don't know if that's
And they have, like,
quite
heaters
that
at the top.
expensive.
Yeah.
And we would
So-
do it in the winter too, for
Honestly,
Christmas
was my
parties.
first
And they
thought.
would bring in heaters.
Something to think about
Yeah.
with what you're trying to do is, let's get the bathhouse done first.
Right,
Let's get the pool done.
right,
And then we can look at what else can we do out there
yeah,
and try to,
okay. That's fair, and that's all I'm asking.
try to come up with something that's not gonna cost $1 million to put out there.
How much was the
Yeah.
bid?
We want a glass
Honestly,
garage.
I think the simplest, and I think this is where you get into bells and whistle conversation, right? I don't think it has to be anything special.
Yeah.
Like even that concession stand that they put there, like that's siding and, I mean, we watched it go up, right? It's wood, it's a couple beams and that aluminum siding kind of,
I have an idea.
You'll have certain requirements
Sure.
first for permits.
Sure. Yeah.
For the building.
however,
Look at the, what do you call it? The building the structure we put up over by the basketball court.
yeah,
That area,
Right.
yeah,
we managed to do that reasonably inexpensive.
right,
Okay,
right,
so down the road, we can get the other things done with the pool. If we've got the membership increasing and we can show a need
yeah.
or desire and be able to afford it,
How would that
then we
work?
can try to do something there.
Can I just ask one question on the back on that? How does that work with inside the pool fencing? Because you wouldn't be, I don't think you're gonna.
The building would be accessible outside of the fence, but the fence would still, would it be attached or somehow,
I'm just
right?
curious.
But,
The
so,
other thing that might
uh-huh,
keep in mind
yes,
to try to do with this, if you can find a way to tie it to recreational activities
Uh-huh.
that qualify for some grant dollars,
Sure.
that would help.
okay,
Because right now, the grant we've got, we got it because it's tied to outdoor use and recreational things. Anything beyond that doesn't qualify. So,
so,
if
Jeff,
that's in the back of the mind too, of how we can tie that together, we'll get some grant money.
so as we're setting up this RFP and as we're talking to people, can we just let them know that to keep expansion or
Phase 2 and 9.
yeah, a phase two of building in mind as we build it, because I'd hate for us to say down the road, right? If we're just building the bathhouse and an office, right? But down the road, we wanna attach another building to it, but the bathrooms are way over here, or we didn't think about putting bathrooms closer so we don't have to pay for 2 sets of restrooms. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and that can be part of the conversation for the kickoff meeting with you,
Okay.
okay?
Okay,
As a thought process.
I'm happy with that resolution.
Okay, so if everybody's, I can't ask for a vote.
Right,
My intention is to get this out on the street next week. So if it's a no, say so, I won't do it. Otherwise, we're gonna push for it, we're gonna try and stick to the dates that are outlined on that. Okay?
we have money that has been granted to us. I think we can take advantage of that.
I think, yeah, if we're gonna do it right the first, plan to like.
But
stage.
like,
My only fear is things come back at like 3.5, 5.2,
yeah.
7.9 million.
And then we'll be like, okay, we learned our
You
lesson.
always got the chance to say no if the money's too much.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
So the one thing to keep in mind with this, we're looking at spring of next year, Valley Road gets fixed.
Yeah.
Timing's everything. Fall next year, you start the bathhouse construction, and it's gotta be done by
May.
spring of '27. Fall of '27, you start the renovations for the pool to be done spring of '28
Right.
to open up. Okay? Okay? So we've got a length of time frame already set out here.
I think I don't know about membership numbers, I've not looked at them, but attendance this year is definitely up.
Yeah,
Well, Northland closed.
a lot of new faces to Jason's
Definitely a
point.
lot. I mean, there's been many times I've been there, I'm like, where the hell are all the chairs? Like, there's nothing.
As of the end of June, we're sitting just above 60,000 in membership and admission fees.
Does that sound higher than normal, or?
I can't say for sure on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, but the problem is the
But you
first
still
week.
have July and part of August.
But it was last year too.
Oh,
So if we're looking at year-over-year numbers, we
I
should be.
think
Sorry.
admission fees hit about 40,000 last year, if I recall.
Okay.
So,
They made 2,000 in one day, Jeff.
I know.
That was crazy.
You can
And that wasn't the only
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
There was like a 1,800 and a, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But they're
It's
charging.
hot days
July
like that.
4th was pretty nice this year. Sunday though, the 6th was not as crowded at the pool. But July 4th, which is a higher admission day, that pool was pretty packed.
There's also a couple of things to consider, so I'm going, oh, sorry.
Okay,
How do we winterize the pool? What does it
Currently?
look like in the winter?
Right now.
They just,
Well,
they
I look
do.
at it every day, so.
so John, this is what I'm told as far as the pool
The
itself.
pool itself?
John lowers the water a little bit.
Uh-huh.
When we go to open, we only have water in the deep end. So the water is leaking out over the winter,
Cool. Okay.
because he's only lowering it a little bit. As far as the building itself, the restrooms themselves, they'll fill the restrooms with chairs and loungers and stuff like that, and then there's wood panels that go over the doors. And they'll load stuff in the offices. Every place inside the building that we can load stuff, we'll load stuff. But other than that, that's kind of it. There's no, the water heater's emptied and that's turned on. But
I love the concept of a true event center there and something pretty, pretty basic. The pool's gonna have to be secured.
The cameras or something?
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my daughter and her husband just had to do the one
Yeah.
that you bungee and then it's,
Right.
and then the kids can walk across it.
But you were
and
asking
that
if we
sort of thing.
actually net over the pool or anything. We don't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's just something to keep in mind, because I
But
would love to have an
also-
event center there.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any type of security down there at all.
Yeah,
Don't
And, well, I mean camera-wise, right? And we put this building in, we've installed cameras all over the place. It's not unreasonable to say that we would do the same down there. I don't know why we wouldn't.
yeah,
It's not about public view of this stuff. I know some people have talked about, well, there's people in their bathing suits and they might not want to be on camera, but it's not about recording that stuff. No one's sitting in a room watching video. I
Right.
hope not, for God's sake. But,
yeah,
I have a great concern coming from retail of people handling cash and not having cameras on the money. I feel like you just have to have that, right? You have to have that backup. It's for their safety as well as ours.
But also-
So,
We
Yeah.
can have it where it's like that garage and you have doors and then you just don't open the doors that are
Yeah,
on the pool
right.
side.
if there's a way to do that,
Yeah.
and, yeah,
You just, if you have doors on both sides, then you lock the doors to the
Yeah.
pool. You can just have an entrance from the parking lot side.
you know how easy it is for kids to disappear. and-
Yeah,
yes.
so you're telling me.
Yeah.
Yep.
to address your concern on the money,
Mhm.
we check, we watch that, they reconcile every day.
I know they do, but,
And I have a threshold of $2 variance,
yeah.
anything more than that
But,
will result in
I,
verbal, written termination.
Whoa,
I also know that if money is short, sometimes someone will just pull it out of their pocket and put it in there.
Oops.
We've had conversations about it.
I'm positive conversations have been had. I don't know if the practice is not happening though.
And I know it's,
I know. Again, this protects everyone, right?
last year we
Right.
had some problems early on and we had conversations with the people involved and we got it cleared up real quick. Cashless. So,
You know, the zoo went cashless. I wish but the zoo also has installed machines where you put cash in it and kind of get a credit card out of it. I don't know what those things, I don't know if that's even possible to get something like that.
Didn't Northland?
The amount of concession sales, the amount that is going through Square and runs to our bank account versus the cash, the cash amount's small.
Yeah,
You may have a larger amount of cash that goes through the admission side, but even then, there's quite a lot of that that runs through Square.
yeah. And most cash through the front office is we're not handing change back, like coins, it's all bills, which is a little
Yes.
harder to,
Yeah, unfortunately, we get coins in the concession
I
stands.
know,
But so far, this year has been pretty good.
okay, good.
And the variances that have occurred have all been, you know, a few pennies to, I think one day we actually had $2.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
I'm happy with that. So
Yes,
if everybody's happy with the RFP, I'll move forward with it,
perfect, thank you.
Yes.
go
Yep,
from there. So
yep.
if you don't need me for anything else, then.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.
I did, just so we're on record, I did ask Jeff about the maintenance garage, we're still waiting on, we don't have all our permits yet. Do you have any updates on it? Do you know anything that he doesn't?
not on the maintenance.
Okay, all right, I didn't think you did.
Yeah,
Um,
not my project.
yeah, right. I don't, Blakeney Township seems to be holding this project up and no one knows why, so.
Well, in fairness, I have spoken to Mr. Shaver, who's the chief building official. The issue is in return of comments, right? So
They had questions on the plans and we've been slow to respond to them.
well, that's part of it. So typically speaking, I've been involved in a lot of projects, probably on the private side. Very typically what we do is you have an experienced architect who's handling your comments, that architect, because a lot of these are building code issues, right? Building code is the purview of the architect, right? You have engineers involved that typically are doing site work, right? Or they're handling things like HVAC and things like that. Or you have a structural, you guys have a special one. Okay. All that said, I don't think we have an architect directly involved. I don't know what, because it's not my project, but however, it's not the lead, and I think that may be part of the delay. Nothing against all the people involved, but I think the CBOs are used to dealing with a certain type of professional and architect, and this is not that situation. That's the best way to put it, right? And so, yes, the comments are not addressed in the way that an architect addresses them, and they slow things down, right? And then he has to wait for
Right.
their clarification, and it takes a while, that's all. So,
Alright, well, anyways, I just thought I'd share what you shared with me on that project, because I know we asked about it next week, so. No further update there. Alright, I guess, Barb left me a few things, to talk about. Does anyone else have anything?
You want to talk about sidewalks?
Sure. let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's talk about sidewalks.
Yeah.
You go first.
No, I'm, what's the right word to say?
Concern?
Is this the tree
Disappointed.
situation?
No, this is
No.
regarding the sidewalks along Minerva Lake Road that were priced in with the project that
so
that-
From Farview Road to
those
Western
should
Road.
be- These should be adjusted. Those should be a 5-foot spacing,
I want
right?
5 feet.
It'll be 5 feet. We'll get that rectified. The reason I say that is because we have received word that our Lincoln's money is, we're going to be getting an agreement pretty soon for $550,000 so we don't want 4-foot sidewalks and then jump to 5 foot or 6 feet. We want a consistent run all the way to Cleveland.
Avenue.
Right. So,
Cleveland Avenue, not
yes,
Cleveland.
we will be jogging toward actual Cleveland, but only a short stint to connect with Columbus on 161, that's it. So our project as approved goes from the southern part of 161 down by the CMAX, connects over to Minerva Lake Road, goes all the way down to Westerville, jogs up to where the light is, we jog across, we'll switch the pathway over there, and goes all the way to Allen Creek pathway. Yep.
Are we gonna connect to like 161 and Cleveland? Like, cause they're putting in sidewalks there too.
Right, that's correct. Columbus, as part of when I was in the meetings with their folks in Warpsy, we were handling it up to that point. They're doing stuff along 161 and they're lengthening it out in both directions. So they've got different monies involved there, but yes.
I'm not jealous, but how big are their sidewalks? Not compared.
Well,
Well, they're not sidewalks.
They're jogging paths,
Yeah.
yeah.
right, so they're gonna be pathway, typically those are gonna be 8 feet wide. 8 feet.
Yeah, 8 feet.
8 feet. So, but we have an interesting situation here, you know, even when, on my original proposal, when we were talking about halfway, right? It wasn't gonna be able to exceed 6 feet because of we had some, without taking someone's more front yard, right? So we wanted to keep everything designed within our existing right-of-way, so we didn't add expense and time, because you can't eminent domain, as the courts have said, you can't eminent domain pathway, just for pathway purposes now. So it's behooves us to stay within our path, you know, within our right of way. And because of some of the topography, as we get towards there, we're fairly confident we can't get it above 5 feet in some places. So it's gonna range, right? And so now that folks want to do concrete, the standard size is 5 feet width, you know, now, and so we'll keep it to that width.
I got a quick question real quick. So I was reviewing those plans that we got sent. It's 3 feet away from the street. You have the curb, 3 feet of grass away from the street, and then you have, well, in that plan it said 4 feet of a sidewalk, totaling 7 feet away from the street on the north side of Minerva Lake Road from Farview to Westville. So my question is, if we are going to do the 5 feet, are we still going to do the 3 foot of grass in between, or can we do
We'll
2
have to-
feet and then have the 5? You know what I mean? That way we're not.
We'll have to address that.
Okay.
Typically speaking, on any edge of pavement into the yards, it ranges 10 to 12 feet. You have room to work with, right? That's not really the problem. The problem's gonna be how we connect up around the aprons, you know, and I'll talk to Mike a little bit about that now that we're gonna be squaring it away with our Lucas project. But we'll, you know, because he, just to be fair, he planned this out prior to us receiving our money and all the other planning, stuff like that. So it's one of those things to where, you know, it's fine and dandy to do that, we'll have to just make sure we match it up with what we're gonna do with the rest of the street.
So we got an email on the 3rd
Okay,
about the bid that was accepted was for 4-foot sidewalks.
we will simply add a change order, there'll be an adjustment in price for that,
So there's likely going to be additional engineering costs because of the slope change,
maybe.
and that could delay a project. And
So what I will simply say is that it's not the end of the world, and I will say you're not gonna delay the street building, you may delay the sidewalks, that's a conversation Jeff and I were having earlier, because if we build the sidewalks prior to signing our agreement with Warp City and Coda, we won't get reimbursed for that section of sidewalks. Right now,
Yeah, that's what I think I'm trying to figure out is like,
Right.
as of now, we know they're going to put in 4-foot sidewalks unless we say
Right.
something different.
Well, we're just gonna tell them not to hold off and not do it, it's not that hard to just send a direct contractor to, hey, you're not doing that right now.
Should somebody like tell us that? I guess I get worried that all of a sudden, like, there's going to be
No, it's not, they're not.
4-foot sidewalks. I'm like, we had this
It's not.
conversation that we're
So,
not agreeable
we
to
will,
4-foot sidewalks.
we will make sure that does not happen. Because we've already been having that discussion in-house, so we're gonna have that conversation, and there will not be 4-foot sidewalks built.
So we're also anticipating that the sidewalk cost on that section would be under the Linkus money? rather than-
Potentially.
Okay.
So the thing is that just to go back in history a little bit, when I started the process with Warp City, and we originally priced this out, I based the pathway costs on what Mike had done, because he was at the same time doing the per linear foot cost when we were doing all the stuff with this section of Minerva Lake Road. So we took those numbers, we extrapolated them, we added some numbers for, you know, tree cutting and stuff like that. Really, it was an affordable thing with pathway, it was right around $250,000, right, $250,000. Now, as we went through the process, you know, it was a good year, and more meetings and stuff, there's gonna be a price change, and then you folks had a meeting with the residents who did not want pathway anymore, they wanted concrete. I was concerned about that, because I was like, well, now we've got a different cost issue. We had a chance to sharpen our pencils a little bit on the project, to get some better idea, and went back to Morpsey before they finalized everything, and we doubled everything up to where it's at now, $550, to make sure we were covered in several ways. So I'm fairly confident we have enough to cover a reimbursement cost. It's just that, you know, with the way projects are, sometimes it's a little up or down. Maybe it's a little over $250 overall, maybe it will all wash at the end because you've already budgeted this for it, or maybe you save money this way, I don't know. Maybe we have a little extra. We have to see what the bid's going to do for that. But the fact is that as long as you don't build the sidewalks prior to a signing agreement, which is not anticipated for a few more months, we can ask for reimbursement. That's the difference.
Can we just get something in writing that says that we want 5-foot sidewalks?
We need something, right?
Just like an email or
We
something?
got an email that they're gonna.
I'll send you an email that says, we're going to make sure we tell them
Yeah,
five
that's
feet. I mean, I can send you an email.
Yeah,
We're
we're
going to do
striking
that.
the 4 foot
Yeah,
sidewalk.
please,
So-
yes.
Another part
So-
of it, sorry, I was gonna say, another part of that, what I was saying about the 3 feet and the 4 or 5 feet.
Right.
Residents' concern as well as kind of like my concern is that we're not going or impeding 7 feet over. Like, I don't wanna go 9 feet in someone's front yard, that's taking a lot of their, so we don't know that right now, or?
I don't, because
Okay.
that's something, I mean, that's one of the things that Mike engineered this again prior to our Linka stuff. The Linka stuff is now happening.
Right.
Vote happened, we've seen we got approved by the code board, or they approved, there's a whole process before, see that the code board approved us along with these other projects. All right, and so now we have to go get some engineering done. That's what we're gonna have to, I'll be back to ask you guys for some money after I get a quote from Mike or someone else to engineer this whole thing, right?
And like, what I'm
I
kind of
thought that
saying
was
is
already
like,
the plan. I thought we were doing that.
I guess the reason why I'm saying all this is going, you know, like I was talking about going 7 feet or trying not to go past 7 feet in people's yards. If we had a 1 foot and then a 5 feet, no more than 6 feet, I know the residents would be a lot happier as well.
I understand.
But I know what Mike talked about was having that buffer of traffic keeping away from the path.
That's the
So I
same
do
thing, you
remember
know,
this.
someone, you definitely want
Right.
a 2 or 3 foot patch right there, because people are gonna be on a couple different types of modes, right? And kids especially on a scooter.
Yeah.
Or on a bike, and you want them to have a little bit of control, and you wanna give the driver time to see that.
Right.
Even if you can slow it down before they end up in the road, you know, if they're gonna end up in the road before they hit the deck, right? So yes, the idea is to make some safety, you know, and it's very important. And I realize it's a tough one, but the right of way, and we'll survey it so everyone can see how much we actually own. The right of way is our property, it is not the residential.
Right.
I know they don't like it, I know they're gonna hear about it, but it's important to emphasize that that is the village property, and it exists 10 to 12 feet off each edge of pavement. And I realize they mow it, and I realize they're responsible for it, I realize they have trees they've grown there, but all of that is ours. That's the reason we're staying within there, that's just the fact of the matter. And so, we will do our best to mitigate this, which is why we're not doing an 8-foot path. We can't reasonably do it within safety, and we don't want to be right up on someone's, you know, front porch either. Most of those, if not all of those houses are set back 30 feet from the right of way. So it's a setback, it's a building line. So there's the 10 to 12 feet from the edge of pavement, and there's 30 feet. So there's a decent amount of ground before you get to a front building line, okay?
Thank you for clarifying that.
It's gonna look and feel different at first, but I
Right.
think it will be okay
Right.
in the long run. And I get it, like, you know, if I was losing more of my property, or what I consider my property, right?
Right.
You're like, ugh, but in the end, it's not.
It's a very nice asset, and will keep people off the street at night, which I never like when I drive through the neighborhood, after I'm done with meetings. I think it'll be a, you know, there's a health benefit to it, and there's a nice connectivity to everything. It's all good.
I don't think people oppose the side, I mean, I think that's a design decision, but there's, when you go to the latest news page and it says 4 foot sidewalks are being installed on the north side of Middle Lake Road.
She's
And I'm like,
just copying.
I know, but it
That's all.
just drives me batty because most people, if they had taken the time to get here, are not paying attention to anything else, and that's triggered or they're like, oh my gosh. So,
Yeah. So once we make the official change, then we'll update that.
okay, perfect.
Okay.
Just a question, you guys probably already addressed this some other time. So when they build a sidewalk in front of the yard, asphalt driveway to the house, is that concrete driveway there that you can double?
This is a very good point. We're gonna have to discuss this a little more. What I would tell you is that when we see major road projects, I would save these for the road projects. It would be my preference that the way other municipalities do this is that when we tear the road up, we're replacing aprons with a concrete apron. Now, I don't think that was done down here. I don't know for sure. If it was, great. If it was, that's perfect.
I thought so, but I may be wrong.
Because that's what should be done. And
That's
so,
probably
I
what-
don't have the plan in front of me.
So think about the MI section, right? The driveway part
That's
through
what
the
I was-
sidewalk is
That's-
concrete.
That's the aprons.
Concrete.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes, that's
apron.
correct.
Oh, yeah.
So we would, I think the plans are for an apron to be
Right.
put in and not
Right.
asphalt. Yes.
Now,
To the edge of the sidewalk.
right, now in this situation, we're not gonna replace all these folks' aprons on the north side with a sidewalk project, that the money's not there for that. It'll happen in phases as we go through each street, you know, each section of the road, as they be replaced there. That would be appropriate.
Here's the issue, it's like, what if you have an asphalt driveway and now you have a concrete apron with a.
But that, I mean, that's the
Like,
MI
we-
section.
But like here, like, are we, like,
Because we, at the end of the day, we are responsible for, truly, we're responsible for that section that's within the right of way, which is the apron. And so we want that to connect. If you notice, a lot of people do their own DIY stuff with the connectivity between those points. That leads to road degradation because they don't do it correctly. It's not done right, it's not done to standard, and water and ice get under there and, you know, degrade the road essentially from those points. And so that's why under standard curb and gutter projects, as we go down the road, we'll replace those correctly with the right material. Match it up.
Buckingham's and Omaha, and so I did notice the driveway's in kind of bad shape. So I'm seeing the concrete apron up to the sidewalk.
Right.
What is our responsibility on the other side? Because you talked about degradation. Well, the problem is that the water will get under there too.
Right. So, in the beginning here, as we go down the road, right? I don't know how they're handling that specific one. If there's anything different. Usually you're gonna put in some type of joint, usually you're gonna control for where, you know, as best you can from a sealant standpoint, where the asphalt's coming up against the concrete, right? Because you're definitively gonna have a point of where leakage occurs, right? You know, it's not, but you defend that through various construction means, okay? Which is why they last so long when they're done properly.
But we would have to provide some type of asphalt on that side.
We potentially would, yes, that's correct. And it's, as we go down and do this, you know, where we've got sidewalk go up against asphalt and we've got these weird aprons, we may run into some problems with some of these aprons. And we may have to replace them as we go down the road. I don't know until we get to them case by case. We'll have to, part of the engineering will be assessing how the sidewalks are coming in, because we're gonna move topography to be able to, you know, have a 5-foot sidewalk, and it's not gonna come in nice and evenly, because again, these weird, everybody has done something different with their apron, right? And they're almost all asphalt, so.
Sorry, thank you.
No problem, it's all part of the fun and the challenge.
And I think one of the concerns there, and I, you know, being new, I can say this, is that when you see that 4 foot, I mean, obviously, we want to try to limit as many concerns as possible. And I think that, you know, you've seen that,
Right. I'm in a neighborhood where it was built, you know, 25 years ago, and so, you know, the standard along the main thoroughfare at 5 feet, and then when we get to the side streets, they're 4 feet. Big difference in walking among just 2 people and your dogs, right? So 5 foot makes a big difference. So we'll make it happen.
So continuing on this topic, Mike has reached out to me and Jeff about streetlights. You know, I think I don't know if we'll go forward with it, but I think it's worth seeing what that would look like.
Of course.
To me, we have one road that kind of runs through our whole village, and I think it would be nice to have it a little more spotlight.
And you're talking about MLR, right, Jason?
Yes, yeah.
And you're talking about eventually, obviously.
So there's a couple different ways to look at lights. First of all, you definitively, in my opinion, need some type of lighting at all the intersections, right?
Sure.
Cobra light minimally of some type. Farview and Minerva Lake are good examples, right? But when we talk about street lighting, you know, there's many different flavors of this. And I would say something was already added to your neighborhood with the new MI subdivision, in which it's done, in my neighborhood out in Albany, it's done very similarly. You use the lamppost way of doing it. It's in my view, a cheaper and more affordable way to retrofit your line to where you can say, again, you have right of way, you can place them, and there's typically that in the right of way there, and wire them up, okay? I think you can choose. I think in this case, if there are, you're going to attach them each individually, not to the house, so that people can't turn them off. They're not in control of that. They won't cut the line when they do things in the yard. But in MI, you get an idea of how that works. And when they're all on, it's a more subtle form of lighting. You don't have, because here they've always prided themselves on the darker, you know, not necessarily good things, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a darker feel, and it's calmer in some ways, right? And it's the way, a rural neighborhood perhaps is, okay? But in today's world, we have all these people out and after dusk and it's dangerous, and really you should have some type of minimal lighting. A lamppost can achieve that when done a certain distance on both sides especially, and then
Yeah.
it's not as expensive as trying to put in full lights, and full lights add a whole different light flow and everything, and it may not be as well received. So just some things to consider as you think about it.
Is there any concerns about the lampposts in general?
Well, we haven't, residents don't know anything about it because we've never presented it really to them. However, my thoughts are, I don't think that we need tons of them.
Right.
I think it's to define our village, right? So as people come in, they're like, oh, we're in Minerva Park now. I look at going down Westerville Road, Blendon Township, right? You know you're in Blendon Township because they have those streetlights with all the plants on them, right? You cross over into Westerville, you know you're in Westerville. You can see the change in it, similar streetlights. I don't think we need as fancy as those, but there are certain elements that I like, especially in Westerville's. Westerville's has options for hanging plants on it, and they actually hang plants on it. They have option for those banners, the ones that have like a pole at the top and the bottom. They currently don't have any banners on it, but it's there. It's permanently attached to the post.
These are the downtown.
These are right as you cross under 270.
Yeah.
Right.
Starting right there.
By Marks.
Yes, by
And
Marks.
Blendon has some on this
Yep,
side.
Blendon does some too. The other thing I like more about Westerville's as opposed to Blendon, they have a spot for a flagpole. If we ever wanted to put flags, think about our 85th or 90th or 100th birthday of the village, right? Wouldn't it be cool to have stuff like that? And then the last thing that they have are plugs at the top, an outlet. So think old school towns where they used to put the wreaths on the thing at Christmas time. That is hooked into the light post. So
Everything's
I think
LED now.
lights are LED now, so they're not as expensive to run.
But everything is wireless now.
It's just the cost of putting them in, and do we want to spend that money?
And could they be solar powered?
I don't know. The problem with Minerva Lake Road is that there's so many trees.
I think
So, could we put solar panels on the roof here? Maybe.
we could. I think you're better off with that type of project is you need to wire them up electric, because yes, you have that issue with the solar panels.
Right.
Solar panels can also be very problematic on a small scale. You gotta maintain a battery for each one. They will go out more often than the light actually.
Yeah.
And that's a more expensive component to replace.
So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that Mike reached out to me because, I said, hey, council had discussed the possibility of this. We're not saying we're going forward with it, we just want to have the option.
Dark sky only.
What?
Yeah.
Dark sky
Well,
only.
this is the thing to consider, but it's in the front, right? And again, more subtle lighting, you can definitely aim that towards the ground, or any types of housings that will help you with that, quite frankly.
So next time you go through like Huber Village or something like that, look at those because they're really, what is it? Huber? Just look at them. Because I like theirs particularly. I think they're too tall. I don't think we need
That's
that
like on Main
scale.
Street. I feel like we don't even
It
have
is
a
a
Main
main
Street to
But
put it on.
this is our main street. Because it's the only one that runs in.
Just put a flagpole at the end. Okay. Next.
The largest flag.
So anyways, I just wanted to keep you on the loop on that.
I'm okay with that at the entrances, like we should have lights and like a place to hang.
And you know what, if there's one at the entrance and one at Farview and
Where?
Minerva Lake Road,
wow.
like,
That's,
I know that area very well.
that's too janky.
we just.
This is not, sorry,
This is
go to
where?
This is Westerville. That's an old,
I'm difficult.
it's an open area
Why are you in the
there,
back of the
factory,
warehouse,
clothes factory.
Gary?
Raising the hitters right there.
Oh, yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the
Good job, good job. Erica.
uptown
That's
Westerville
exactly what
planters.
we're looking for.
I'll tell you,
It's not
those
that
are
involved.
$1,000 a job.
You trying to find them on the Google Maps?
I was gonna put an example here around State Street.
Well, there's one right there in the corner.
We're,
Right there.
Up on the upper left
Oh, right
Look
corner.
on that picture.
Yeah.
Up for
Yeah,
that.
this one, yes, that is one.
There you go.
So there we go.
So, and that one's not even as tall as the other ones, but that has pretty much all the elements on it, right?
But then,
Yeah.
that was.
That's downtown, so I'm sure they're
No,
short.
one thing here.
But those lights are still like $1,000 a pop just for the light.
That's
Yeah.
super small.
Are you talking about the
Are they just
poles?
regular?
Just the thing, what's the pole, like just that, so anyways.
Are they from
I don't think that's in our budget.
What's that?
Is there any in front of your house or are they just in certain areas?
Oh, no. Yeah, everyone in our neighborhood has some.
We all have.
We have a
Oh,
post.
so the label.
We have a lamp post.
Yeah,
That's kind of.
We have a gas.
Street
lamp.
lights.
yeah, it's different.
It's very subtle, they're not very bright.
Yeah.
It's,
And some people turn them off, like in the first two phases, they were hardwired, you couldn't, there wasn't a switch to them. And when they got to my phase, I actually have a switch, I can turn
Yes.
it on and off.
Yes.
So,
So the example with housing, this is a bad housing. This housing lets it shine right up into the atmosphere. So where you're not helping with the light pollution at all.
mhm.
So don't pick something like this, is my advice.
Right.
Regardless of what side of light you choose, you gotta have a cover and you gotta have something that,
it's a lamp
It's
shade.
down.
thank you.
What's the one, what are those called, the ones in Grove City? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where in Grove City?
Everywhere in Grove City. There's like a standard Grove City gas lamp.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Let's look at one.
Westerville has them too. Grove City gas, like, lamp posts.
I do my best to get out of Grove City.
Well, same, but unfortunately, some people have to work there.
Yeah.
The people in Said the people that are required. We do have a fantastic firework now.
We do.
We do.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm thinking of it, because this reminds me.
It's like,
The other thing I think we should talk about, and it doesn't have to be tonight, is do we want to add any trees along that road,
what road?
with the street project?
I think,
They're gonna mess up our sidewalks.
first off, though, Jason, there's a lot of trees in that area as it is.
There are, yeah,
So, I mean, do you really,
I mean, we are taking some out,
so we should add some, right?
so I think it's only two, to be honest with you, two big ones.
I saw that too.
As you get closer to
Here.
Westerville Road, there is kind of an open spot where there's not a lot of trees. And I'm not saying do 20 of them.
So when you agree, and I mean, when you agree though, whoever's house they take those, there's two big trees that will be taken out on basically the first three houses.
Yeah, it's the first
So,
two.
right,
Yeah.
And so when you agree, if we can put a tree, let's put it in their yards. If they want it.
No, I think it's typically is like in front of the sidewalk.
I mean, if,
But no, I'm not saying even, I'm saying in their yard, I
I
don't know.
know.
But as far as putting trees, I think, my personal opinion, I'm not gonna say it, but I think there is a lot of nice trees in each of the properties.
Absolutely.
I kind of think it would ruin the look, which is like a little less.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think we need more trees. I think the look of Minerva Lake is like a sprawling-ish lawn. And if you block everything with trees, I don't know if it wouldn't go with the vibe.
I concur, but I think you may want instead of, trees can be, you do have a lot of trees, and so if you want to plant trees, I think in this case, you plant them on the other side of the pathway sidewalk. You plant them in the yard itself, right? That's the better way to handle it. I don't think you want them right on the street, and, that's just my opinion.
And that's how they are in the MI section.
Yeah.
I know,
They
but-
are, but that's,
If people
the subdivision is designed a certain way there.
Yeah.
To more modern standards. This subdivision is old at this point, and it's been done very different.
Yes.
Vintage is right.
Yeah, no, I know. And I don't think it's put them as often or as frequent as they are in the MI section, but I think it
Yeah.
does
I think
give
it
a
breaks
little
up.
continuity.
Yeah, but I think it also, no offense, I think it breaks up the monotony because the houses are so similar. I almost think it would be a disservice for us to cover the beautiful, like, vintage, mid-century modern architecture of these homes by just putting a bunch of
We
trees.
just gave a lot of money for trees to Minerva Flora. Didn't we? We did like emergency money recently.
No, a couple $100, wasn't it? 500?
But it was like that day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that we do a very good job, maybe not putting in mature trees, but like giving back the things that we take out, maybe even if only 50 of them take. And we continue to add trees, I think in a pretty
Eric, there's a good amount of concrete aprons, is it?
Well, there's a few on this section for sure, which is good. I will note that there aren't as many trees right here as there are in the rest of the villages.
Right.
Now, I will say what will be interesting is that.
But there's some across the street too.
One of the things that Columbus got a lot of money for was to connect this, so this is
Yeah.
all gonna be a giant pathway that's gonna go north. and
But we're
south.
gonna further go east too, right?
We're going, yes, we're going all the way down.
So why are they going across the street, Westerville?
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna go all the way down to Westerville here, right?
We're going like
I'm
this,
just
sure.
sorry, I didn't mean to ask. I just thought this was weird when I heard this, because Green Line path,
Green Line goes all the way, it's the old railroad, which is why we call this, the sign says the Green Line.
and
That's
it's
exactly
gonna
what it
go
is.
all the way up to the Allen Creek.
All the way, it's gonna go.
Okay.
We're gonna go,
But why are we going, are they going, okay, just ask this, so I just asked it, are they going across Westerville Road on this bike
so
path?
what we're doing as part of our proposal, is we're coming here, we're jogging north, so we'll jog north along here. We will then right here, we'll cross at you can see that there's there's
They're
a
right.
crosswalk already, but there's nowhere else to go. So then what we're gonna do is, then the pathway will start, and we will get the topo here to deal with, but we're gonna go along here, there's plenty of right of way, just gets in the weeds. We're gonna go all the way back to where we, but there's multiple, but that's what makes it one from a connectivity standpoint.
Because you're giving some access to the
Yeah.
Strawberry Farms folks that are Columbus public.
Right,
But that path, but I'm saying, so you go up Green Line to Cooper Road, that bike path connects all the way behind
Yes.
the park
Yes.
and then all the way to the river, maybe it's a river, right?
But if you
Which
went
goes to
to
Strawberry Farms.
the shortest way to go to the C-Max line,
right,
up that corporate drive.
right.
If you're coming from Strawberry Farms, but otherwise, you have to ride all the way to Cooper Park.
And then come
down, yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Okay, so,
So, anyway.
Eric, you said we think we can get money for these sidewalks? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is since the sidewalks that were designed and will be built are going to be in the same place that we had already put a plan in from Linkus money. So we essentially, yes, if you don't build the sidewalk until after we sign our agreement, then we get reimbursed. If you build it before we get our agreement signed, which again is several months down the road here, because the monies will all be released in 2026. Okay, so the rest of this year, they're working on the agreements now, and then we'll eventually get our agreement and we'll get signed.
So you're saying we couldn't put the sidewalks in until 2026?
You could, I just want you to be aware that, you know, we're getting 550, right? We got double. I think there's going to be, as you know, there's other unknown expenses. We based this on some basics at the time when we did the plan, and we added money to it to try to cover our butts. I think it may run into it where, I think it may be a wash at the end of the day. Maybe you spend a little bit of money we're gonna spend anyways here, somewhere in the project to make it all happen.
So, sorry, I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. 550,000 is what we are
Right.
looking to get?
Right, that's what we've been.
And is that for all of Minerva Lake Road?
That is for Minerva Lake, that's for going up Allen Creek, that's for going up the part. Keep in mind, the part of Cleveland we will improve upon, but there is already some sidewalk there on our side.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going to make connectivity going all the way up, essentially,
Okay, and then
essentially going up to here, something.
Yeah.
do
They're already
we
putting those
think
in today.
550,000 is enough to cover the expense of the sidewalk?
We believe, we should be, right? But again, we don't know that until we get into all that good stuff like bidding. Right, we based this on estimates at the time that, again, Mike had based on what the cost per linear foot was for pathway when he originally was planning this out. And the number that we came up with was, again, right around 250, and that was for the whole section to do it. Now, as you saw on the map, there's some field issues to deal with. We're going to obviously have trees to cut down. We're going to run into things out there. So we doubled our money. I think it'll be enough. I mean, it's a good amount of money and can easily come, you know, the construction costs to date come in under that. I just, you know, I assume we're gonna run into a few things.
So now council has to make a decision. Do we continue with the street project and add them during that construction, or do we hold off and have a gap in it and do it later on, and not take the 44,000 for the sidewalks out of our general fund?
I mean, what's the questions?
And I think that's what you,
Yeah, I think that's the crux of my whole argument is 44,000 is for 4 foot wide, just by mere materials, perhaps labor. Now you're making 5 foot, that's a 20% increase. So is it now, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think,
55,000?
I don't think it'll be 55,000, but I've let Mike answer.
But then, yeah, and I get that, it's just, and I already had reservations about doing the sidewalks as a part of the streets projects because of the lake house money, and just being a financially conservative level type of a person, I just would rather take Franklin County's money than our general fund. Because I'd much rather that be for
Something else.
pool cameras, or, you know,
Right,
something.
I'm not disagreeing with this thought.
How much is 44, I guess, how much is 6 months
But you-
of no sidewalks worth to you?
But you can ask them, I think the first thing to do with the contractors, you say, here's our change order, what is it going to cost to
Can you
make
give us
this
a
4 to
change
5
order?
feet, right? And then they'll tell you, and then you can see what that number is.
Yeah.
No, okay, just kidding.
Well, the other question is, if we take that off the table, how much does it even change? Like if
Right.
they're not gonna drop the price by much for taking it off.
Well, I remember when Mike was here, the conversation was, well, you can always strike an item from a bid.
True.
You just say, do not perform this work.
Right. They
And
did
then
it by
strike that
line, so I
price
guess,
out.
yeah.
And
Is
for
it
my,
broken down, like, do we have, where
It
is
is,
it bid?
it was by line item, because we have to
Okay, so
separate it
then
out,
we-
so we could strike it, yeah.
That's like, ah,
it's gone, and I hate it, but I don't want, it's just general fund money, and
But it's also tearing at people's yards twice.
But ask for a change order, see what it costs on the increase.
Can we address I would like a talking point, so I can say this nicely. If anybody asks me, what's up with the sidewalk to nowhere?
Well, it doesn't go anywhere, obviously. It's
Yes,
part of a
yeah,
larger
just-
project, but yes, I'll get you something.
So here's,
Phase
but
one.
can we just
Phase
come up with
one,
like, I just don't wanna say something, I wanna think about what comes out of my mouth. And what I wanna say is, this project was done in phases because we wanna be as economically friendly as possible to the village. It is not a sidewalk to nowhere. That's all I got.
I mean, I've only heard that from one resident, not that others aren't thinking that.
But it's not a waste
is
of
it-
money because it's part of a road improvement. As we improve other roads, we're installing more sidewalks.
It's not a sidewalk to nowhere, it takes you into our village.
It does.
It may
And
not
it'll connect
have,
with the rest.
it may not have a destination going east, right? But if you're going west on it, it takes you to the schools, it takes
Yeah.
you to the MI section, it links you to our paths that are back here.
There's an argument to maybe it is going somewhere to the east, it's just you go north to Cooper Road.
Well, eventually, yeah, it will.
So, I mean,
yeah.
that's gonna happen.
Right.
Right.
What is the timing on that one?
They will start their project, like you said, everyone will start their project in 2026, Green Line included. It's a bigger project. I would anticipate that's gonna take them a 2-year period minimally to get that done. So, but between 26 and 28, you should see a connection here in the village.
Is that, I mean, not the greatest answer, Jason, but that is part of the answer.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand it's not a path to nowhere, but I can see why people think, hey, if you're just doing it here.
it's a large, and I've been using this phrase a lot lately, but it's the elephant, right? How do you eat an elephant?
Right,
It's one bite at a
Yeah.
time.
Oh, sure.
Well, and I think the other problem is, and we've discussed this all year, right? We've never presented a master plan to this village on projects and where we're going. We know that there's plans in place, we've just never really presented it in a formal.
So
way.
we
That's
talked
on
to Jeff
us.
about
I know
that.
it is.
Yeah.
Jeff brought that up. There's supposed to be a plan presented this year.
That was in not TSA, what's
This
the
budget,
engineering
uh,
code? What does he say every?
oh, his,
Task order.
yeah, test.
Yeah, he has a task order for creating
Right.
that, correct? Yeah.
When he's talking about infrastructure,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
For pathways.
No, is
And
that.
so is that different, was that
no,
different than an old master plan?
It is part of it.
Yes, you master plan of something means that you're master planning it.
It doesn't mean
Right,
we're
it could be
stuck,
parks.
it doesn't mean we're stuck to it.
Right.
It's just saying, hey, we're looking long-term down the road of the things that we need or want to do. And then people know, oh, this is phase one of this bigger plan for 2035, right?
And then for municipalities, that's pretty typical, I would assume?
Typically, what we do at the larger scale is what we call a comprehensive plan. A comprehensive plan is something that talks about growth. It encompasses economic development, encompasses growth. Your infrastructure is wound in there because, for example, if you're looking at a lot of neighborhood construction, then that's how all these phases, these developers are building it out, and then you're gonna have this park come online here, and these are coming online there, and then, that's all kind of wound in with the zoning, so that's what they do like that. Your infrastructure plans, a master plan for your infrastructure is just, I think of it more as the schedule of your repair and your construction, because here you're not building brand new streets, the sidewalks are the newest build,
Right.
but you definitely have a long-term plan for how you address your street rebuilding and maintenance and those kind of things. And then in this case, you're adding curb and gutter. That's your biggest master plan piece in this case.
But it can include the pool.
Yeah, the lakes.
It can include the lakes, yeah. It
Maintenance
can-
building, obviously.
Playgrounds,
Right.
pathways, anything that we think we might be doing over the next, whatever.
The village is interesting because it's a small, intimate little place, and so I never feel that things are unwieldy here, right? I feel people get a little rowdy sometimes for little things, but I think that's the nature of the intimacy of the village, right? I think that the councils, up to this point, have always been able to just, you don't have 20 projects at one time that you're dealing with. You don't have a staff of 20 that's throwing a lot of stuff at you at any one time. Like, say, a Dublin or Columbus, where you've got to have books of stuff that kind of meet it out. Here, you can deal with these things as they come. You're at the point, yes, you'd like to see something maybe a little prettier. Hey, we're doing the lakes here, but some of the stuff we don't have the funding yet, and some stuff is still in motion just to get the funding. So I think that's where it gets tricky. Is maybe it's more of a master plan. Is the engineers like that term for their stuff, but maybe it's just more of
A vision.
conceptual, a concept plan for how you're moving forward. A vision, yes.
Back, just if you can answer this, so, because I'm seeing different numbers and I just want to make sure I'm clear. So there's grant money of 550,000.
That's correct.
Is that for?
That's Lincoln's.
Linkus, right? Where does that fit in, like, when Jeff defines it? How does that fit into his language? So we sat with him the other day, he gave us a bunch of information,
Right.
and it says OPWC grant.
That's different.
I figured, but I just,
OPWC is a different mechanism by getting you money. It combines loans and grants. They go through a process every year. I attended the last meeting of a grant writer, Ben, who will help you, and he kind of steers that process because he writes the stuff for it.
if you don't mind checking with Jeff in the next meeting, or whatever, I just want to understand why it's not like that grant, that Linkus is not in his numbers.
Well, probably because we haven't signed, this is the notification that we received the number.
You can only put in there what's guaranteed at this
Right.
point, and because we don't have signed
Okay.
paperwork on it.
It will get in there. So as soon as we
So
sign
it
this.
will be adjusted as we get into the real budget this fall, you'll see those numbers.
Thank you, sorry.
Yeah,
Just curious, when you said that, I was like,
yeah. Good question. No, that's a good question.
It is. There's several things we're working on. We should have some more capital funding money. Obviously there's the federal budget side of it. Capital comes from the state. So we try to apply every year or 2 years, depending on their calendar, when they're doling out money to get some money. The
and
feds,
we'll still take the OPWC loan,
right?
not just the grant, we'll get the grant.
Right. You get both.
Yeah.
So it's how they assign it in a percentage, like, you always would love 100% grant, but they're not really reasonably gonna give you one, so maybe you get 80-20.
And then that 550,000 offsets and stuff.
Well, it's separated that, so it works in tandem. We try to leverage all these different funding sources, and if we're lucky, in this case, you've got a street project, you've got sidewalks going on, they kind of all work nicely together, right? With the lakes, we're trying to put a lot together because it's a big number, right? So the feds were our biggest piece of the number that fell through with all the shenanigans in Washington. I reapplied this year, so we'll hopefully get another bunch of money, 850, or at least what we applied before, maybe $1 million, to apply to the lakes for 2026.
So let's just, I just want to put a different spin on this master plan. So let's just say we had a current master plan, let's call it the 2030 master plan, right? Because we're about 4 years out for that. And we went, and let's just say that that plan was designed in 2020. So we're now in year 6 of that plan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We had no idea of the Lincus money at that point,
Right.
or any of that stuff. So I just want to say, you put that in place, but you never know what that final outcome's going to be. It's just a roadmap, and it's not. We're not locked into it in any way, shape, or form. It's just kind of saying, hey, this is where we think we could be in 10 years from now, and then we do what we can to kind of get there.
Right.
We're not going to get to that. We probably won't be at that same destination, but we'll sure be further along than we were before. So, good stuff. Okay. Anything else with that? I have two things here that kind of tie into it. One is this email. I don't know if we all got it. I feel like this was on Facebook, so I'm just going to read it to you all, and then just so that we can say that we had discussion on it. From what I understand,
Can you read it, Jamel?
Is this from a resident?
Should I read it? I'm
Yes.
gonna do it.
You know what, I want Stacy to do it.
I'm gonna do it first. From what I understand, you guys are putting sidewalks in on the north side of Minerva Park Road. I planted a rosebud tree 7 years ago, and it looks like it may be right in the middle of the sidewalk. Is that something I'm just gonna lose, or am I gonna get reimbursed for that tree, because those are very expensive?
That's it.
that's
There's
it.
no-
That's it.
So,
That's it.
so what I would just, if I can glom onto this a little bit, what I would suggest that would help in situations like this as we move forward with the sidewalk, inevitably some trees are gonna come down, as we talked about, there technically are trees, but the residents have an attachment, and we want, much like the street trees in the other subdivision, we want people to have an attachment to their trees. It's a good thing. I would suggest that we consider a cost program, something of that nature, to where we will help offset, some specimens, and it'll be case by case, what people particularly attach to, that we can have the discussion and council can, help alleviate some of the pain that inevitably come from having to take some trees down.
We can get a sidewalk. Instead. Here's the thing that I'm worried about getting into is, well, you paid for my tree, but you didn't pay for my precious prized oak tree that has no value whatsoever, but it is sentimental to me, and this guy got his redbud because it was expensively replaced, and that to me is a very...
Policies can alleviate rule sets, and they're
Right,
all
so
going to be
that-
different. I'm not saying there could be a value assigned to every tree. There could be only case by case where specific, it's just when people complain, right?
Right.
Hey, we can advertise, hey, there's a program, we want you to application, put it in, and we'll go through it. To be honest, the cost of buying a new 2 or 3 inch caliber tree is going to be very minimal. It's not that big a deal.
I
And
know.
we can bring them on in bulk at once.
Something that might
But
run
it, like a
into that.
weeping one is like $400. So here's, what if we just said, hey, we're gonna put in a sidewalk, here's your chance to move your tree, good luck. Is that too mean?
Well, some trees can't be moved without killing them.
Wow.
And none of them, I would say.
I
none of
think
them.
anytime you take action and put property in a right of way, you're taking
Yeah,
a
you're taking a risk.
of that not being used.
You lose control of that property.
Yeah, you've given it up. Because you,
I
and
agree.
I hate to say that out loud because it makes it seem like we don't care, but
I mean, I would care too, but I would be like, oh, that sucks, I should have.
They're gonna have, when the sidewalks get put in on that north side, there will be a clear demarcation through the surveyors of where the right of way is and where the property technically is. So they're all gonna visually get to see it at that point. That's when I anticipate you're gonna have, a lot more comments and questions, right? All I'm saying is, while I absolutely agree with what Tommy is saying, earlier in the conversation this evening, there was, hey, we want to be prepared for, some of these things as they come up. You can prepare by having some type of one-time program to just alleviate some of the pain. That's all I'm saying. It'll cost you a little bit of money to alleviate some of the pain, and it's just my suggestion.
Okay. I mean, but then, are you gonna manage it? Who's gonna manage all that?
With this all, we can discuss it. I don't think it's going to be that difficult to put an order in. We're going to go through it with people. We can talk about some options. We can see where the chips fall in that case. I don't think it's that crazy. We've done it before in other cities, and it can be done here on a small scale. So, but just a suggestion, we'll go through the details later.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up, it came from a resident, and, you know, I like to at least have a
Yeah.
conversation around it.
Does anybody have any other opinions other than?
I kind of go back and forth, I don't know. It's, I mean, we're not salvaging every tree on that road, it's just impossible to do it. Could we do this? Maybe, I don't know what the.
We have to set a precedent though now with this portion,
Right.
because this portion doesn't have as much, but
Well,
then these ones might.
Or what if I'm like, aha, they're gonna put sidewalks in and I don't want one, so I'm gonna plant an endangered tree, you can't cut it
They're not gonna
down.
plant a big tree, first of all, they don't have rights to do that within the right of way, we can easily back that one away, that's not a problem. The issue is just, my suggestion is simply that, look, again, these are 2 or 3 inch caliber trees, we can't replace a 25 caliber inch tree that's gonna be, been taken down in some cases down the road here, right, it's not gonna happen. It's too big, it's too expensive, you gotta give them a small tree, let it grow, right, that's it.
Yeah.
I kind of think, I feel like that kind of, this led me to ask about putting some trees in on that road earlier. So is it a, we have a fund set aside and people can apply for money
Yes.
for it? Is that an option?
That is
If
an
they want
option.
a tree in that space, we'll plant it in there.
That is absolutely one option.
And, or if you want to apply for it so that we could relocate your tree, like,
Kathy, how do you feel about this? Honestly.
You know, it's almost 8:30 at night.
yeah, you gotta.
No. So part of me is kind of like, it really is our property. But I do think the kindest thing is for us to find some amount of money. Like the first thing I would do is go and count how many houses are going to be affected. And, is there any way we could put back, I don't know, $50 to $100 a house? I don't know what's reasonable. And, and just make that possible. But if we do that, we have to do it the whole way. I mean,
So that's why I'm thinking, if we set something up,
Yeah.
we need that precedent so that
Yeah.
we can continue.
You can also do it over the course of several years.
yes, right.
You can put aside a few
Yeah.
$1,000s a year, and people can put in, because not everybody's gonna apply, I'll be honest with you.
Sure, right.
Some will apply more than others.
Right.
And we have the ability to set through some policy about how that gets doled out.
Yep.
And I feel like now we're setting a precedent, like, okay, we will respect these trees, but we didn't respect the MI trees, and you have to figure out your own way on how to maintain them. But here we are respecting people's trees when we're putting improvements in, and again, both of those things are in the right way. So I feel like that gets tricky too.
But, yeah,
It's tricky.
one's maintenance of the trees though, and the other one is improvement of the space.
Well, it's
So-
also a problem, it's also a problem.
Maybe we could reach out to Minerva Flora and see when they have trees, they can be next on the list to be a part of that tree that they plant at their home. We can solve to,
There was an option to get bigger trees, but for some reason Minerva Florida did not apply for that grant. They cannot apply for grants because they're part of
they're not.
Minerva Park Community
Is that
Association,
50%?
and they're not a tax exempt, I don't know, their organization ways, they can't apply for grants, so they always have to go through the village.
The association can?
No, because of their code, because
Whatever
they're
they were
40
assigned.
40 something B that you can't get grants for. So that's why the village always applies for their grants
Right.
and then transfers them the money.
Okay.
So, like for the community garden, they couldn't, when they wanted to get a grant to replace some of the raised beds, the village actually applied for that grant and then gave them the money for it.
Did we do more than just sign the application? Because if they want it, I mean, I assume they're doing the legwork
They're doing
for
the
it, we're
legwork,
signing
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and we're the fiscal
Yeah.
officer.
So
Okay.
Lisa did approach me and say, hey, we have an opportunity to get some larger trees. Would the village be interested in some of them? And I had said yes to that, but then she never went through with the grant to do it, so. But I can reach back out to her and ask.
So that's a
Yeah,
good suggestion,
Yeah.
because that's one way to skin that cat.
yeah. It wasn't the tiny little sapling trees
No.
like they're planting over here. They were definitely larger trees.
You wanna get 1.5, I would say get 2-inch calipers.
Yeah, right. Which brings up number 3 here with trees. Eric, can you go over to where the park is? On
To
this
which
map? The park where the pavilion is
Yes.
specifically, and kind of blow, right in that curve,
Right here?
those two houses on the curve on Quiet Brook. Okay, so, you can even see it in this, screenshot. So you see how we have a gap of no trees?
Right
in there?
here?
Yep.
Yes,
I have no idea what, if there were ever trees there,
there were not.
but a resident has asked if they could get 3 street trees planted in that area. They've even offered to purchase the trees.
That's nice, there you go. It's a very nice way to continue the continuity of the trees. MI just, they did so many trees on each side, they.
It's just weird that they left a gap. I felt like some of them died or
If I
something.
recall correctly, this was a concrete cleanout area, that's why. So, yeah, I think that's.
I do
it was
think you're right,
here.
yeah.
So, that's why they just never bothered to put a tree down over there. I mean, I don't think, if I go back to their master plan for the trees, I don't think that they had any trees planted here.
Meaning there's concrete under it, or there
No.
might be?
No, what they have to do, when you're doing all this concrete pouring, the guys with the concrete trucks have to spray out the concrete, otherwise it'll harden and can't get it. It damages the vehicle, so they've got to get it cleaned out on site. And so there's a concrete gathering area that they.
Got it.
They got other concrete.
They basically dig a big hole,
Yeah.
and the washout from the truck goes into that hole, and then they
Right.
cover it back up.
Okay, got it.
And that's where the hole is. I do remember seeing those, this
Yeah.
construction was going on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But those big vehicles back in, I'm sure they didn't want
Right.
to deal with that right at the moment. They wanted to plan it. But
Okay.
I don't think anything was on that plan.
So yes, and we'll let them pay for it.
Yeah, it's nice.
We,
I mean, if you want, if you can forward me that, we'll reach out and just coordinate that.
it's just this.
That's it. Oh,
I think Barb just printed this out probably, but you may have it. Okay, 2 more things unless other people have stuff.
I have one more thing.
Okay, go for it.
Last week or a couple weeks ago, we talked about raising the police rate on the fees. And we also touched briefly on renting the canopy or the tents as well as the municipal building. And the $150 fee to rent the building, as well as when people leave a mess behind, what to do about that kind of situation. So I had an idea. If you're renting out the tents, maybe, and this is just I don't know, just throwing out ideas here for everyone to kind of figure out yes, no. When you rent a tent, you bring it back, you pop the tent up. I know it's a lot of work for that person to do that. Have it inspected or show us a picture of that tent prior to you bringing it back that it's not been damaged in any way. If you do mess up that tent, you are liable to pay for it. Going back to this, the building here to rent out. If people rent this building and they're having more than excessive of 50 people, you're supposed to have an officer. This has happened a couple times this year already.
For the mayor's discretion.
Is it really?
Yes. I know, because I had one, and that was the question, was,
Okay.
it's the mayor's discretion.
Go ahead though, keep going.
Sorry.
There's been a couple other incidences where, again, we share a police station and an officer tried to come up and use the break room and he was asked to leave. We have to figure out that can't be, that's not
was he getting his stuff out of the refrigerator?
something.
So I think we'll have to put in the agreement that the officers have to, come in there and get their stuff. That's
Or
our
any-
joint fridge.
Right. Any official that's here can and,
Right.
no questions asked. But going back to this is a municipal building. I've noticed a couple things that are starting to get, worn down a little, how do I say this, prematurely, I guess, as opposed to just being a building for us. And of course, we want to let residents use it, but maybe going back to evaluating the fee schedule on renting out the building, and as well as, I'll be even willing to come in here, say Friday night, you rent it out to somebody. I could come in the very next day, take pictures if I notice anything, and then submit that to Barb, if anything at all, before the next person comes in on a Saturday. But we should be finding, and I know this sounds mean, but we have to protect ourselves in the building at the same time if we are renting it. I think that's fair. And, you know, hey, if you're getting hit with a $400, $500 credit card bill because you trashed this place, so be it. Or you have an excessive cleaning bill of $200 or something, whatever I'm just throwing out numbers, by the way, whatever we think is fair, we come up with, just ways to think about or to protect the building itself. That's pretty much it right now, something to think about, that's all.
I
know.
don't disagree. I think we are seeing a little more wear and tear on this building than we.
And I don't want, I don't want
I mean,
people,
we want it to be used, right?
right, but I don't want to be abused is my thing,
Yeah.
and protecting that.
And I have heard those horror stories from our staff that this space has been left a mess after.
Again, it's $150 to rent it, right?
That's so cheap.
I think it's super cheap, I really do, I think it's too cheap, honestly.
I do too.
I've rented it 5 times for a couple different settings, all different settings. It's super cheap, so it's easy to rent, right? I mean,
Right.
but I don't, it's got weird when it talks about down payment for damages. I don't understand why we wouldn't have that in general.
It
Like-
feels like we should have a deposit,
Yeah.
a cleaning deposit or something, and you get it refunded if something to that effect,
I did
right? I feel like
make
if you
those-
rent like a Verbo space, don't they
Yeah.
do like a payment fee and then refund it if you?
And so I did mention it to 2 residents. The one, surprising, I couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, I think we should, I told them, they know me, so I told them, if it was more, they just automatically like, oh no, you can't charge more, and that was a resident, right? So I'm just really torn on this. I just don't like the idea that if this gets damaged, right, it feels like we don't have any recourse. It really feels that way, and it's sad.
See, I want to impose heavy,
Yes.
very strict rules that, listen, this is a municipality building. You are renting it on good faith that you will not. And of course, there have been people that have rented this building and have done above and beyond. And that's wonderful, of course, and I appreciate that very, very much for those people that did that. But there have been some stories that they should have been fined, no questions asked, and we're not doing anything about it. We need to,
So
get on the ball. So to
we
speak.
were guilty of breaking that pole for the flag.
That's
Oh.
who did it?
And so, for the flagpole.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I was kidding.
No, I hope you don't blame me. But we ended up getting it fixed, right? But even that situation, right? I was just really shocked. They were like, oh, no big deal, whatever the case was, whatever was said to my wife, maybe it wasn't to me, but. And I just, I think that's just an example. We were gonna take care of it. We admitted it, we knew. I was like, dang it. We didn't mean to do it, of course. But the reality is, obviously, there's not that same recourse with people, if that makes sense.
I think there is a recourse, I just think that we're failing to take it.
Agreed.
Failing to initiate. I mean,
Probably.
and it's not harsher rules, I think it's just enforcement of the rules that either we have in place, and if somebody can't prove that this place was a mess when they rented it on Saturday after somebody had it on a Friday, and you don't have evidence of that, I'm charged the whole weekend.
And
Whatever it takes to clean the place up and put
See,
it back to the way it was before it happened.
This is where I have a key to the building. We all do. I mean, I would gladly volunteer. You have a council member in here taking pictures
What
of it.
happens when you're no longer here? What happens
We
when?
have cameras, guys.
But I'm
We
just-
see the room.
Well, yeah, but
Okay.
I get it.
I'm just saying.
But on the flip side, okay, if I can just say this 10 seconds, I've done a lot of vineyard community center over here on Cooper Road. There's always damage that happened. I run basketball leagues, all that fun jazz, right? Rented out party rooms. Damage happened. The reality is the expectation was that damage may happen. Even if it wasn't trash, a different scenario, but there was still damage, kids kicking the walls and stuff like that. If we're going to rent this place out, we have to understand that's gonna happen. So that's where I'm kind of like on both sides of this, because I'm like, well, the fact that we're gonna rent it out is kind of crazy to me, to be honest. But since we are renting it out, let's charge more, do the recourse.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we raised the rate, it used to be $50. We
Yeah,
raised it to
I remember
$150,
that.
and even that was like
That was from the
pulling
old-
teeth.
Everything that we did, and it was for family friends, right? Everything we've done, we would have paid $455 for.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like,
And we would have paid River Park for that. Do you understand?
I'd rather even, except for like MPCA, maybe another Mineral Park food group or something like that, not even rent it out. Just keep it as a municipal building, that way.
How was that decided, Jason, if you don't mind me asking?
Is what-
Council.
To rent this out,
We just continued it, to be honest. We had it in the previous space and they came up and
That
said,
makes sense.
are we gonna continue it? And
Yeah.
no one said no, I don't even know if we were in this space yet to even know what it
It
looked
was,
like.
it
when we
was
decided.
anticipated, I'll just tell you, it was anticipated that that was a valid option. So when we designed, Lieutenant Darkins designed this space with the attachment
Right,
and then the secure, trying to kill this guy, and that's what's a nasty mosquito. This space, this can be locked off from the rest, and so the restrooms and everything, so that way there would be controlled access for the purpose of renting it out.
mhm,
So-
yeah.
Was it renting it out to make money though, or was it?
No, it's
Just
been
because-
much like your pool, it's meant to be a community asset.
Right, and we only rent it to residents.
Right,
An outside
that's right.
person can't rent this.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Yes.
What is everyone's kind of consensus on, we just stop renting it out to residents? Is that like a 10-4 no, not at all? We're just,
I'm not good with it yet. I think
Okay.
we need,
Yeah.
I would need to see like more destructive damage done. Like
Right.
if there's a riot in here, then I'm like,
Right.
"Hey, maybe we shut this down for a year."
That's-
all right, let's just
that's-
eliminate that.
I
The
think we
next-
should have a deposit, like anything you rent out, you have
Yeah.
a deposit, and if you trash it, you don't get it back, because it'll go towards the cleaning fee.
Like
That
what,
way it's-
$500 or something?
I think so, yeah.
Like, even if you rent out, like, I went on, like, a bachelorette thing, and we got a cabana, and I was like, what is this charge on my credit card? It was $500 for
It's
the whole
normal.
cabana,
Mhm.
and you get it back, but that's,
So I'm the only one who feels this
Yeah.
way. I'm completely against renting this out because this is a professional office
I have to
building.
agree with that.
And to have birthday parties in here, it's simply not what this is for. I understand that this is kind of tradition and history, and so it's something we want to do, but if we have to rent it out, I'm leaning more toward what Jason, or what JP's saying, and let it be meetings or book clubs or something like that, but parties? I just find it appalling that we allow parties in a municipal building. I know I'm the only one who feels this way,
No, I'm
but
kind of leaning
it
towards,
used to be a community building. and I-
There has
it's a municipal building
There
now.
was
It
discussion
wasn't.
of this. The problem is we can't discriminate on that basis, I believe is what the answer is. So we can't say, your party is more acceptable to us than your party,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
hold
okay.
on.
That's-
Meetings-
But also, I think we
meetings
talked
versus-
about the fact that anything with frosting was off limits. I remember having this
You
conversation.
can do a no, you can do something that's light, but the problem
No
is
food.
Yeah.
So here's another
we
thing,
do have events in here too.
no
I-
food, there you
I
go.
understand.
Yeah.
So when I came in here, I had ketchup on my
Shoes
seat that I
off.
was wiping off, or some kind of something hardened.
Yeah.
And had I been dressed a little bit nicer, I would not have been happy about that. Just saying.
All right.
Food for thought, literally.
I know Kathy has a flight in the morning and we have to
Okay,
go.
sorry.
I want to just show you these two things real quick. There's been an ask to update the signs at the basketball court and pavilion. It's really just kind of changing the wording that says, from use family-friendly language and music, please, to consider others when playing music, volume/language.
Are there existing signs there?
There are
Yes.
existing signs. I think there's something else. Oh, also adding at both of them, no fighting or weapons.
Is there room, is there space to add this language?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
new
it's
signs.
new.
They're new signs. They're about $70 each.
I was gonna scribble it in
So,
Sharpie on this thing.
They're $70 a foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they're just $70.
I thought you were-
They're not expensive.
They're-
Any issues with that?
I
No.
would just say the size is
Whatever
probably the same
helps.
size as the
I thought they
pool.
were
No,
more expensive.
No, they're not expensive, no.
Jason, are they the same size as before?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty
they're
much the
same
same
size.
size. Yeah, they're just like another one to them. And then last, and then we can go.
How about no music?
No fun.
I know it's no fun, but maybe in basketball, people live by it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with no music. You should be focusing
I
on
don't
your
know,
game.
maybe I'm being mean. but
You
I
guys
just-
do realize that they're playing basketball now behind Mineral Park Middle School, right?
That's
Does
fine.
everybody know
They're
that?
playing basketball, they're playing basketball.
That's
But
fine.
I'm saying the older kids are playing behind.
That's great.
Just so you know.
Is it
So-
bothering anybody?
Well, except for girls softball, because they were cussing the storm, but I just want to make sure, I didn't know if anybody knew that. I didn't know that till April.
I knew that.
So there's just less older kids over
Right,
there.
the school's got their own,
They got nice courts.
yeah, they got their own.
Okay, last thing.
And there's less residents, obviously.
Right, so Dennis, here we come.
Last meeting, the question came up about getting some more of those handicap, I don't like calling them handicap because there's
Larger chairs.
taller,
Larger chairs.
lounge chairs.
Platform lounge.
And Barb did reach out to the vendor that we've used in the past. To get 10 of them would be $34.45, to get 20 of them would be $65.85.
What the heck?
6,000.
Can we just put them on cinder
Well,
blocks?
what? How much is the price?
For 20 of them, it's $65.85.
6,000,
It's $300 a chair.
yeah.
$359 a chair, plus there's some lift gate and shipping charges, but it's minimal. This is the only company we found that did not charge freight charges on top of the lounge chairs. And that's actually, for a lounge chair, that's a decent price.
And what's the
Have you looked
background
on
name on
Friday?
this? With these, are these chairs not available or is not able to manage?
Yeah, because of Northland community that's kind of taken over as well, oftentimes all 5 of them are gone.
Yeah,
And
We
so,
currently have 5 of them.
we only have 5. We only purchased 5 because we didn't know what kind of need we had. We only had 1 or 2 people asking about it. But we definitely, all 5 of them are definitely taken up most of the time,
Can we just
so.
buy 5 more?
I mean, we could, I mean,
I mean, that's a lot of money. Halfway through the pool season. Will they be cheaper
they
at
won't
the end of the year?
even, they won't even be here before the pool season. So,
So why don't we wait
we're
and see?
purchasing them for next year. In the past, when we've done this, their prices usually go up later in the year because everyone is purchasing them for next year. So, I don't know that we'll get them cheaper next year, but
Can
we
we
can
just
certainly.
put chairs on blocks or something?
That's what
like
I said,
that?
cinder blocks, sounds great, how much does that cost?
I don't know, I mean, I
So,
don't know.
okay.
This is not the Linden area.
Different banner.
This is not the Linden area, well, this is the I'm Jerome Village.
My apologies.
Sorry, no, Jerome Village has a workout space.
I just say something, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Jason, just real quick, this is to you. Is that something that you feel like we need?
I do think we need some more attention.
How many do you think we need?
I asked her to get 20, she also did 10. So I think if we get 20, we're good. Like, we won't need more.
No. No.
It's
Is
not
there
like
enough room
shorter
for
people
20?
Oh
can't
my
use
gosh,
them,
there's 20.
you know, I
I
mean,
don't want my friends to.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, it's not like shorter people can't use them, it's really just buying 20 more chairs, and we need it, because I think we
it's been-
need extra chairs, and if getting
Yeah.
ones that are more inclusive, I'm okay with that,
These are
so.
20 inches in height, and our rest of our chairs are 14 inches.
Yeah,
So for-
I would hop up on that.
For our people that have knee issues or things like that, it's harder for them to get in and out of those 14-inch chairs.
Exactly.
So, and we have picked up a lot of Northland members, and they are all older.
I love helping people, but
Yeah.
sometimes it hurts.
So,
Here's the thing,
Blocks of
the
money.
price difference between this and the 14-inch chairs is like $20 a chair.
Why
So,
didn't you say that earlier?
so it's not like, it's,
Yeah, so you're just,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
those chairs are not cheap, but,
oh my word.
no one's gonna complain about
Yeah.
the large one, Jason did.
Right, they're gonna get used, so whatever
I-
you all
I-
feel is
I-
good.
You know what, it pays for itself in like 3 days at the pool, so.
yeah, I don't think it's a discount. I think this is order in the fall to be delivered in the spring type of thing, but I just wanted to go over
Can I
that
get
price.
with a green band, so at least it's prettier?
The green band?
You know how it's like beige and then there's like one band and it's like.
You can custom build it.
I'm sorry.
It's all aesthetic.
She wants some green, we gotta give her some green. She's just come up.
The fact that there's 4 different color chairs already.
It does bother me. Why?
It should, actually, it should.
Why would you do that?
So that down the road, if we have to add more and can't find the same ones, we can just stick with a color palette instead of a single color.
What does Jerome Village have?
They have pants. Okay,
Okay,
are we
are we
I
done?
know,
Are we good to adjourn? Is everyone good on adjourn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.